Namaskar. Welcome to another episode of Editorial. So while the whole country is talking about elections and Prashant Kishore says this and others says this and who will win, will NDA win, will BJP win, let us get back to reality. Let us talk about things that are pressing and that are concerning this nation, especially our youth. I am talking about employment. There is a very, very interesting article in the Indian Express. Let's go and discuss employment, unemployment, and also Bharatiya Janata Party. Let's get right into the show. So I added this word Bharatiya Janata Party in the end of my introduction. The reason I added this word Bharatiya Janata Party in the end of my introduction is because, you see, Bharatiya Janata Party is Hindutva Party. Remember that Bharatiya Janata Party is supposed to be Hindutva Party. Bharatiya Janata Party takes a lot of pride in Ram Janmabhoomi and Ram temple consecration. So all this is their crown and glory. Okay, they are people who believe that minority should not get much of, the resources and all should not be going to minorities and all is what they have been talking about. So Bharatiya Janata Party is primarily a Hindutva party, and I just want you to keep that in mind, and then let's get into the show. Okay, now there is an organization called Center of Monitoring Indian Economy. Now, very interestingly, this organization throws up numbers, and very, very important numbers. They constantly come with data on these fronts. You see, why I am emphasizing on this, few points I am going to emphasize in this particular editorial. So therefore, please excuse me if the editorial is a few minutes longer. But I want to emphasize this because somewhere down the line, we have lost the culture of data. We've lost the culture of administrating our country via data, via actual empirical data, empirical facts. Nowadays, we administer our country because possibly, we get messages from God, or, we are non-biological and things happen from heaven. That's how we administer our country, because we feel like that, or it boosts our ego, or it helps a certain community, or helps a certain cause. We don't use data, and therefore most of our data organizations that used to churn data for us is also almost dysfunctional. So coming back, okay, there is this organization called CMIE which has put up some fantastic data, and today's Indian Express, like I told you before, has carried a lovely article. So thanks to Indian Express article and thanks to the data that CMIE has put up, I'm going to go further with this editorial. Now, this Hindutva party of ours in India, I will tell you what it has done for employment, especially for Hindus. So let's talk about the unemployment rate by religion, and then we will come to the employment rate by religion. Now, the unemployment rate by religion, all religion put together, the unemployment rate was 7.42%. This was in 2016-2017. In 2020, I'm going to write in the middle, in 2020-21, the same rate has gone up by 8.75% from 7.42%. And 2023-24, this percentage has gone up to almost 8.03%. So from 7.42%, which itself was bad, it has gone up to 8.03%. We better be very mindful of all these figures. Please write these figures down and keep it somewhere, because these numbers are going to affect each one of us. So coming back to 2023-2024, 8.03%. Now in this 8.03%, in 2016-17, 7.28% amongst Hindus, 8.79% amongst Muslims, 8% Christians, 6.4% Sikhs, and 8.35% amongst Buddhists. So the unemployment rate amongst Muslims were the highest at 8.79%. This is in 2016-17. Same government, not that the government changed, same government. Now let us come to the figures in 2019-20. Like I told you, 2019-20 overall figures were 7.45%, and Hindu figures of unemployment was 7.4%. Muslim figures 7.68%, Christian figure 5.39%, Sikh figures galloped to 10.4%, and Buddhist figure were up by 7.43%. So again here, the largest, of course, was the Sikh, which galloped from 6.4% to 10.04%, and Muslims, which came to 7.68%. This is the figure of 2019-20. Now let us move to 2023-24, the current figures. The current figures, overall figure, like I told you, 8.03, and amongst Hindus, the unemployment rate is 8.07. Muslims, 8. Christians, 4.06%. Sikhs, 8.94%, and Buddhist, 6.34%. So mind you, the numbers now, this time around, again after 6, the highest unemployment rate is amongst Hindus. So Hindu unemployment rate has gone up from 7.28% to 8.07%. And mind you, this government claims we are Hindutva government. What has a Hindu got is the question I want to ask. All the people who claim that, शेर पालना है तो पैसे भी खर्च करने होंगे, it is finally for a temple, we don't mind anything, whatever happens, if the inflation goes up, it is okay. All those people who say this, please, these are the numbers, these are empirical data. Please have a look at these numbers and then make up your mind. Okay, now let us talk about employment rate. Employment rate, by the way, is the ratio of the total number of employed people to working age population. Working age population is 15 plus is the working age population. Okay, so now let us look at the employment rate. In 2016, we'll go by the same numbers. In 2016-17, overall employment rate, all religion was 42.79%. Amongst Hindu, it was 43.21%. Among Muslim, the overall employment rate was 39.95%. Christians, 40.91%. Sikhs, 41.6%. So overall employment rate stood here. The least overall employment rate was amongst Muslims, because only 39.95% of Muslims could find job. The working age, that is 15 plus, could find job. This was 2016-2017. Now let us come to 2019-2020. Overall employment rate, 39.5%. Amongst Hindus, 39.68%. So came down from 43%, came down to 39.68%. Quite a fall. Came down to 39.68% amongst Hindus, 37.85% amongst Muslims, further fell from 39 to 37%. Christians, 40.56%, and Sikhs, from 41%, it fell to 38.68%. So this was 1920. Now let us look at 23-24. 23-24 overall is 37.18%. Hindus have fallen from 39.68% in 2019-2020 to 37.26%. Muslims have fallen from 37.85% to 35.5%. Christians have fallen from 40.56% to 40.43%, not much of a fall. And Sikhs have fallen from 38.68% to 37.4%. So, in this Hindu government, or the so-called government which is focusing on Hindu, the percentage of people amongst Hindus who's actually got job is fallen from 43.21% to 37.26% from 16 to 23. This is the status. Now, Baba, we have to decide whether, has this government worked for Hindus? Are we tolerating a lion so that, Hinduism can grow and, we reach top and all that? Is this actually happening? Because this is what figures do. Figures opens up everything. Figures opens our eyes. Figure opens our mind. If you, of course, want it to open, that is also a fact. Now, this is where it stands. Let me also take you through some other data. You see, close to 7,000 students from Indian Institute of Technology, that is IIT, remains unplaced. 7,000 students from India's premier organization, premier institute called the Indian Institute of Technology are not placed. They are unemployed. If IITians are not employed, just imagine what happens to kids who come out of private colleges, kids who come out of government colleges. other government engineering colleges. Imagine what is their state. Let me give you a quote from Mr. V. Ramagopal Rao, BITS Group Vice Chancellor. He says, everywhere the placements are 20 to 30% lower. This BITS Birla Institute of Technology, which is supposed to be almost the same league of IIT or maybe one step down, but all the same, a premier organization, a premier institute. He says 20 to 30% lower. So to conclude, you see, my ideology, my character does not allow me to put employment, hunger, poverty into religious basis. Hindu hunger, Muslim hunger. I believe hunger is universal. So I am going out of my character to do this editorial. And I will tell you why am I going out of my character to do this editorial. I'm doing that is because there was a lot of talk about our previous Prime Minister giving resources to Muslims, about some particular political party focusing on Muslims, appeasing minority, trying to promote minority. There was a lot of talk, which meant what? Which meant that the current dispensation was focusing on Hindus, correct? That is what it concluded. If the current dispensation was focusing on Hindus, then why are Hindus unemployed? Forget about ideology, forget about everything. Let us focus on the promises that the current dispensation is giving to the people. If the current dispensation says, if the current government says that, listen, you know what, we are focused on Hindus, you know, those people, they are focusing on minorities and Muslims and all that, then why are Hindus unemployed? Why are you not giving jobs to Hindus? Which means that your argument is flawed, which means that what you are promising is not being delivered. That was the point I wanted to make. Make no mistake, no Hindu is benefiting because a Muslim is being put down. No Hindu is benefiting. The point that I am trying to make is governance is normally for a nation. It is not for one particular community. Good governance, the nation sees good governance. The nation progresses, not a particular community. And in this case, what we are seeing is, with all the talk, all the Hindutva talk, we see no difference to Hindus. In fact, we see degeneration. This was the point I wanted to make. That's the reason why I wanted to do this editorial, and that's the reason why this data I wanted to present to you. And that's the reason why I have been constantly talking about Hindu unemployment and Hindu employment rate and so on and so forth. Otherwise, we, I think, need to focus on India rather than focusing on communities. This is the point I wanted to make. Till I see you next time. That's Monday at 10. Namaskar.
Stay ahead with our cutting-edge news app. Instantly access the latest shorts in just 1 minute and breaking news in just 50 words. Download now for a smarter, faster news experience.